celebrities, athletes, you have to kind of keep in mind that the very privileged lifestyles that they lead. I mean, they make a lot of money. They are surrounded by people telling them what they want to hear, that they're never wrong. Yes, sir. Oh, you can do this. Oftentimes, they just kind of they live in their own kind of reality about their worth, their value, how they're being perceived. And Blake's no different. What's good, people? I'm Attorney John Mobley. I have prosecuted and litigated complex civil and criminal cases for over 30 years, and I'm still actively litigating these cases today. My experience was forged in the legal trenches, going toe-to-toe with some of the best lawyers in the country, and I'm still actively litigating these cases. On this podcast, I'll be giving no-holds-barred, hard-hitting legal analysis on the legal issues that are gripping the nation. But you want to hear more than just legalese or legal mumbo-jumbo. It's important to have the perspective of a non-lawyer. So my assistant Kayla is joining me in the podcast, and she's going to ask me the tough questions for which you want the answers. So please join me on Legal Deep Dives and listen to me call it like I see it. What's good, people? Attorney John Mobley here. Welcome to Legal Deep Dives. We're here in the club room, here with Kayla. Kayla, I would ask you how you're doing, but if you're here in the club room, you must be living your best life.
Always.
Also got the production team, Mike and Drew. You guys look like $1 million. And Kayla, before we start, I just want to remind you, mi casa, su casa.
Thank you.
So what are we talking about today, Kayla? The people want to hear about the hottest cases, the hottest legal issues gripping the country.
All right. So Blake Lively, her coworker, Justin Baldoni, there's been some huge lawsuit going on. What's the basis of it? Let's do a little recap of what the lawsuit was about.
Gotcha. Blake Lively, the original mean girl. Well, basically, Justin Baldoni is an individual that purchased the rights to make a movie based on a book he read. He fell in love with it. He bought the rights to the book so he could make the movie. Blake Lively was set to be the star of the film. She was a big name. But, of course, disaster happened. Blake Lively basically took over the film. She bullied Baldoni. She rewrote the script. She got the movie studio and the movie company to back her, where she pretty much made all the decisions. Ultimately, despite all of that, she accused Baldoni of sexual harassment and being inappropriate and fat shaming her. And ultimately, what the funny thing is, at the premiere of the movie, Blake had so much clout that she was on the red carpet for the premiere, and he was in the basement with a folding card table and a couple of his buddies. Humiliated. But again, despite clear evidence that she was the bully in the case and she had the power, she filed a lawsuit against him. The lawsuit did not do her any favors from a publicity standpoint. His attorney was very aggressive, and he released a lot of the text message that really kind of showed that, again.
Good. Yeah.
Blake was a bully.
Call her out. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just did not show her in a positive light. The case was not going well. Her high profile friend, Taylor Swift, got dragged into it based on some text messages, which Taylor did not like. Of course, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool himself, got dragged into it. It became a bit of a mess. And she took a hit from a public persona and branding standpoint. And from a legal standpoint, a number of her causes of action got dismissed on technical grounds before they even made it to the jury. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, Blake made the decision to settle the case. And here's the thing about that. When she settled the case, the settlement agreement did not pay her any money, not a single dime. Despite 2 years of litigation, she did not receive a single dime with the settlement she agreed to.
Well, why would she settle if she wasn't going to get any money?
Well, there's only one reason: money. And, there are a lot of ways that this case affected Blake Lively financially. And I don't just mean the legal fees. And yes, we'll talk about the legal fees. But oftentimes when people are apt to file a lawsuit, which people are, we hear the phrase, all the time that we're a litigious society. And, although I'm an attorney, even though I'm making my living suing people and representing people, people can be litigious. People will want to sue over the smallest thing nowadays. And oftentimes the celebrities, I mean, they have humongous egos, and they will often want to file a lawsuit over any perceived slight. And that's what she did in this case. But what litigants don't often take into account, or what I like to call the collateral consequences of litigation, which means there are things outside the case that are going on that you have to deal with. And when you're a celebrity, you know, if your name is in the public, then you have a lot more collateral consequences than normal people like you or me.
So do you think she had like a big ego and maybe she was thinking, there's no way they don't side with me. I have a big name. You know, I'm gonna get this and run. You know,
Exactly. I mean, celebrities and across all fields, celebrities, athletes, you have to kind of keep in mind that the very privileged lifestyles that they lead. I mean, they make a lot of money. They are surrounded by people telling them what they want to hear, that they're never wrong. Yes, sir. Oh, you can do this. They're wrong. You're right. We don't need them. It's all about you. And they just develop tremendous, massive egos. Oftentimes, they just kind of they live in their own kind of reality about their worth, their value, how they're being perceived. And, and Blake's no different. But however, when you're a celebrity, if you're in litigation and information and evidence are flying back and forth, if there are things out there that are negative, it comes to light. And Blake Lively already had a reputation as being, for lack of a better word, difficult, being insensitive, being, a mean girl. But no one really paid attention to it because she was like any other celebrity. But once this lawsuit came out, a lot of the interviews she's given over the years were being re-aired, which showed how insensitive she was, how mean she was to interviewers, how tremendous her ego was.
I've seen a bunch with Anna Kendrick, and, Anna's just like, she just ignores her and goes about it because I'm sure she could tell.
Exactly. And all these things together had the effect of portraying Blake in a negative light and it being brought to light on a regular basis now. So what that happens is, it affects, one way it affects her is her career, okay? Because, and that's a couple different ways. I mean, number one, if you're thinking about casting a co-star in a movie or casting a star in a movie, you don't want to hire somebody that's going to sue the co-star for any perceived slight.
Or make anything completely difficult to where you don't even enjoy the process.
Exactly. So no one's going to work with any celebrity that does that. And obviously celebrities are notorious for not getting along on set and not, you'll have the romantic leads in a movie who just can't stand each other and that happens all the time. That's just kind of part of it. I think people that make movies or in that industry just kind of accept that's just a part of making movies. You got a lot of massive egos you got to deal with, and it is what it is. It's about making movies and making money. But, in addition to no one wanting to work with a litigious star or actor, if you're thinking about making a movie or casting a movie, you don't want someone's drama to overshadow the movie. If you put your money, your energy, your heart, your soul into having this movie produced so it can make money, you want the focus to be on the movie, not this star's drama. And that affected her ability to get jobs. And just in general, if you're going to cast an actor or an actress in a starring role in a movie, you want that person to be generally liked by the public. Because if you can make the best movie in the world, but if the public does not like the actor based on any number of reasons, their politics, their social views, how they acted in their marriage, what's going to happen is people aren't going to pay money to see that movie and you're going to lose money. So ultimately, this lawsuit and all the things that came out portrayed her in a negative light. I think the best example, an extreme example, is Amber Heard during the Johnny Depp trial. I mean, Amber Heard filed that lawsuit, and over the course of that trial, people hated her so much. They thought she was
so bad.
I mean, she thought that she was going to play, what's the phrase, a victim card, that she's the abused woman. And of course, people are going to side with the abused woman, and It backfired.
Oh, the whole thing turned into a complete joke.
It did. I mean, it got to the point where it was so bad for her that not only the fallout was so bad that not only did she not get new work, but the roles that she had already had, they had cut her parts out of films already made. Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, Aquaman. And that's what can happen. And that's the road that Blake Lively was going down. And if she's not working, she's not making any money. Mm-hmm. And that's not the only way. Blake Lively, like a lot of celebrities, she has product lines. I mean, and I will say celebrities are smart to have product lines because you don't want, if you're a celebrity, if you're only making money when you're working, then you're kind of, putting yourself in a bad spot because your career is not going to last forever. So smart celebrities will have their names connected to product lines. And those product lines will be sold online. They'll be put in stores like Walmart, and that'll be another stream of income. But it's the same effect. If your brand becomes unpopular with the public, then they're not going to buy your products. Mm-hmm. And in Blake's case, some emails were released that indicated a lot of the big stores were expressing concerns about continuing to carry her product in their stores based on the negative publicity that she received based on the trial. Mm-hmm. So if people aren't buying her products online and the stores aren't going to sell her products, well, guess what? Again, she's not making any money.
Yeah.
So it affected her ability to get work and make money. It's potentially affecting her revenue stream from products and branding. Again, hurting her in the pocketbook. And let's talk about the legal fees. The combined, now keep in mind that a number of her charges have been dismissed. Not charges, but the causes of action have been dismissed. Mm-hmm. Not a day of trial has started yet, but the combined legal fees for Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni exceed $60 million.
And you said the movie only made like $80 million, right?
The movie cost $25 million to make. Okay. So they could have taken that money and made 2 more movies that generated money and still saved $10 million.
Yeah.
But they spent $60 million, almost, double what the movie cost to make. So she's bleeding cash all over the place. And when you take into account that, it's affecting her career from an acting standpoint, it's affecting her stream of income from her products and branding, and she's spending money like on an insane level for legal fees, and the case is not going well because a lot of the claims are getting dismissed. It made sense to settle because she was going down a bad road where her hits were going to the hit she was taking was just never going to stop.
Yeah. And so I had seen something about she wanted to leave one of the causes of, what'd you say, action? Mm-hmm. Causes of action out. How can you settle and take something out? Or is she going to do like a separate lawsuit for that? Because that's just more legal fees. What is the process for that? Yeah,
well, she's claiming that this agreement allows her to still pursue other individuals, mm-hmm. That are not named in this lawsuit.
Okay.
And it's, so whether she's going to do that or not, good question. I just think that's kind of blustering.
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
I think the lawyer's just trying to put the settlement on put a positive spin on the fact that the settlement case for no money. Mm-hmm. Saying, she's still retained her right to sue other people and go after more money and all that kind of stuff. And it's a victory. It's not a victory. They're trying to save face from a public standpoint and good luck. No one's buying that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, so a lot of money lost, a lot of money spent, a major hit to her reputation professionally. And at the end of the day, this lawsuit was costing her more money than she would have ever hoped to get.
Mm-hmm. And it affected some of her relationships. You said she dragged Taylor Swift in it without her permission. I don't know exactly what's going on with Ryan Reynolds. I don't know how his public image affected this lawsuit or if dragging Taylor in without her permission could cause more legal strain for her, even though she's already had enough. What can that do?
Well, dragging Taylor in, and I just want to refresh for everyone's, understanding how Taylor got dragged in the lawsuit. In the text messages that were released, as part of the discovery process. Like you always hear me say, all those text messages, they're available. They can be used. They can be subpoenaed. And, Justin Baldoni's lawyers were very good. They got the text messages. And a lot of those text messages, she's referring to Taylor Swift. There's a famous or a very famous exchange where they talk about how he wants to make, she wants to make changes to the script. And she invites him over to the house, her apartment. And Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are there. And she's calling them her dragons or something like that. And she wants him to hear their perspectives on changes to be made to the script. Mm-hmm. By the way, keep in mind, Blake never even read the freaking book. But ultimately, so Justin Baldoni's attorneys wanted to subpoena Blake. Mm-hmm. Blake was subpoenaed Taylor.
Okay.
To take her deposition because, well, you're saying she was a factor in this lawsuit. And of course, Taylor Swift was livid. Taylor had zero to do with that film, except for trying to be a good friend to Blake, saying, oh, yeah, right, good job. I'm sure you can do it. I think you have some great ideas type thing. And as a matter of fact, from what I understand, Taylor just happened to be there that night. She didn't know that she was that Blake was inviting Baldoni over. Mm-hmm. She kind of felt like she got, Pearl Harbored from that standpoint. And I will say this, I don't have anything against Taylor Swift, but I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift. I mean, I don't have her posters about her songs. But I will say, and I will acknowledge that for, the length of time of her career, Taylor Swift has done an amazing job of staying scandal-free. I mean, I cannot think, and I don't really follow this kind of stuff, but I cannot think of a single negative story ever associated with Taylor Swift. That lady has worked tirelessly hard with her choices, people she's dated, public comments she makes, not being drawn into pointless feuds to protect her brand and her reputation. Mm-hmm. So I can certainly see how for someone that's put all that effort in, to have Blake Lively draw her into this negative cesspool of crap that she wanted nothing to do with, yeah, that hurt that friendship, and Taylor was fortunate that she was able to work things out where she was never publicly deposed. As far as Ryan Reynolds goes, I mean, he was trying to support her and, but ultimately Ryan was taking some career hits too, because this was not a popular trial. And I think it was in the beginning, Ryan kind of rolled into it with his, Deadpool kind of smart aleck personality, and it was kind of cute, but over time it's not cute.
Yeah.
And the thing about Ryan Reynolds and, with Ryan Reynolds' career, if you take out the Deadpool movies, Ryan really didn't have too great of a career.
Yeah.
His movies were kind of always in the crapper. He was kind of a punchline, with every role he played. Mm-hmm. And so Deadpool's really all Ryan's got going for him, the Deadpool brand. And he's parlayed that and other things, but it was affecting his career as well. So, yeah, I mean, there were some personal things that were going on that were no doubt in my mind a factor in her decision to shut this case down.
Mm-hmm. And there was a statement that Baldoni's attorney made recently about Blake's statement saying that this was a victory for her. The settlement was a victory and, it was a win all around for her. Do you agree with that? Do you really think it was a win for her or?
Not a chance. Okay. That's her trying to save face after 2 years of bluster and pomp and circumstance and portraying herself as a victim, which she still tries to maintain that she was a victim.
Because I don't know how it could be a victory if she didn't get a dime. She ruined literally everything that she had pretty much. And
the victory is getting out now.
Yeah.
What I tell people, filing lawsuits like getting married. It's a lot easier to kind of start that and get into it than to get out once it ain't working,
Yeah. And is there anything that you would have done differently on either side of the case that you think should have been added or you would have done to make either side go more smooth? Well,
I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, because I mean, from a legal standpoint,
yeah.
If Blake had come to me and wanted to file this lawsuit, I like to do my due diligence first. Due diligence means saying, okay, you're telling me all this stuff because, every potential client, when they come to you to talk about filing a lawsuit or They claim they've been done wrong and this is so unfair. They're going to always, and it's just human nature, sort of like two people going through a divorce. Each person is going to tell the side that makes him look the most favorable.
Oh, yeah.
Another person look the worst. But before you file a lawsuit, it's smart to do due diligence to say, okay, well, let's look at all the text messages, look at all the emails, let's talk to all the witnesses. I think the worst thing an attorney can do is file a lawsuit based solely on what the client tells them happened. That's just.
But when it's Blake Lively,
that's
why
the business side. That's the business side, because if someone like Blake Lively or any other celebrity walks in the door, or some athlete, and they want to file a lawsuit that you think the attorney thinks might be questionable, and it may be best to, investigate, and the celebrity or athlete says, okay, well, how much time are we talking about? And I say, well, I'm going to want to get all this stuff. It's going to take you time to get it. I need to review it. Probably a couple of months. That's not what they want to hear. They're going to say, no, we're going to file this lawsuit right now. And if you're not going to do it, if you don't believe in my case, then I'll go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So you can take this, $500,000 retainer and get this lawsuit filed now, or I can go down the street and find 100 lawyers that'll do it. Well, guess what? Honestly, I would file the lawsuit because,
I'm taking that money.
She's the client. And if you're not taking the case on a contingency, if they're actually paying you a large upfront retainer, then hey, well, if that's what you want to do. And so, but I think that's the main thing. But I think, any celebrity that has the ability to write a large retainer, they're going to kind of, drive the train when it comes to that in the beginning. But of course, the problem is always once you kind of get into litigation. Mm-hmm. You can't buy your way through litigation. You can spend money and maybe you can outspend the other person. But if you're on equal footing from a financial standpoint, if the other person can spend just as much money as you can, then the failure to do due diligence, the failure to take your time and truly investigate and prepare the case is going to end up biting you in the butt in the end.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all of my questions. But if you have any final thoughts or anything that I didn't ask you that you want to talk about, let's hear it.
Well, I got to call it like I see it. Blake Lively is the original mean girl and a bully. This entire lawsuit was ridiculous and the very definition of frivolous. It is truly a shame that individuals that have truly suffered loss or have real legitimate disputes had to wait to get to court so she could spend her time and spend court time fighting out this ridiculous case. In my opinion, she got exactly what she deserved, a big fat 0. Well, you might agree with what I'm saying, or you might think I'm being insensitive to another hardworking female actress in Hollywood. I really don't give a damn. However, do me a favor. I appreciate your comments. Post your comments, post your questions, and call it like you see it. Also, do me one more favor. Go ahead, like and subscribe. And you may know someone that finds this case interesting. Please share the video with them as well. That's it.